Hi, hello. Welcome back to the channel. My name's Cooper. As always, I'm your favorite painting teacher. I have over 15 years of experience painting and drawing. Today, I'm very excited to be sharing with you my technique for how to stretch your very own stretcher bar for painting. So let's get into it. First things first, what I'm going to show you today is considerations for when is the appropriate time to stretch your own canvas versus when you should buy from the store. Then I'll show you how to physically start to finish stretch a canvas over stretcher bars. And also along the way, I'll show you some tips and tricks, special things you can do to take your stretcher bar from good to great. So let's get into it. Things you will need: canvas, scissors, stretcher bars, right? The actual wood. You will also need a staple gun. You'll need some extra staples, and last but not least, coffee. Not required, but recommended. Okay, so first thing you need to know is when is the appropriate time to stretch your own stretcher? I'm of the opinion that whenever you're trying to do something custom, of a custom size or scale, then the best thing for you to do is to stretch it yourself. And that is because it can be prohibitively expensive to ask a place like Blick, for example, to make and send you the bars, and it's hard to find, right? Because you can't get a standard size. So in that case, if you want to make a really long and narrow painting, the best thing for you to do is to make it yourself. Now, the trade-off there is it will cost you more time because you need to go to Home Depot, get the material, then go to the wood shop, cut the material up, glue or screw it all together, and then you have your bars. Versus going to the store when you're working with a standard size and getting a 24 by 36 or 16 by 20 off the shelf, ready to go. So you spend more money that way, but actually it's a lot less time and labor. So that's kind of the trade-off you need to be considering is, when do I want to spend the time and the labor to make my own bars versus the convenience of throwing money at this problem, going to the store, getting off the shelf, and just being able to start. There's a time and place for each approach. It just depends on the kind of project that you're doing. So keep that in mind when you're making your own work. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to make the stretcher bar, start to finish. Let's get into it. So step one is cut the canvas length. So I'm going to unroll, undo this canvas. And what I want to do, I'm going to do the top side, the face of the canvas, face down. Okay. And I'm not going to lose my scissors this time. Good, good, good. And I'm just going to make this easy for myself and do it on the corner. Now, what I want to do is make sure that I always leave enough room on the edges so that they'll come over the side and the back. For larger work, generally you want at least 3 inches, but for smaller work, maybe you just need 2. But there's nothing worse than running out of material for your stretching because it makes your corners difficult. It just makes everything more difficult for you. Also, some of you are going to want to use I don't know what they're called, stretcher clamps or something. I don't use them. I find that I don't get as close or as deep of a pull to get that drum-like quality for your canvas. But if it's easier on your hands and you want to do it, go for it. So I'm just going to eyeball this to make sure that it comes over enough. So you can see that's about 3 inches on each side. So come over here about 3 inches. Nice thing with canvas is that it is woven. So I can just pull this across. See that? All right, until it's where I want it. And then line this up again. Make sure it's about where I want it. And I'm just going to do the same thing over here. And then I'll cut off my excess. So let's see, will it go this way? No. Not quite. So we'll just cut this way. You got to follow the weave of the canvas. Okay. So we've cut the canvas. That's step one. Step one, part B, is that I have the rest of this canvas material on the end here, and I don't want that to be gunking up my corners, so I'm just going to cut that off real quick. And don't worry that we have all of these little fibers happening. I'll tell you how to fix that later. Okay, step two, I'm going to now line up my sides to make sure I have the same amount of canvas on both sides. And from there, I'm going to make my initial staples. Now, here's the thing. I've got all this material. The long strands I'm going to cut, but I can hide all of this by simply folding it in. So I'm on this side. I'm going to start here. I'm going to start in the middle, right? I'm going to fold it, and then I'm going to make the loudest sound in the world. And now I've applied my first staple. Now also notice, zoom in here, that I have applied my staple diagonally. This is because you want to grab different parts of the weave at once so that I don't accidentally get this ripping effect, which I did on purpose here, but if I have it just like this and I pull too hard and it rips, it can rip in a whole line. But if I grab different parts of the weave, then I can avoid that. So this is a special tip that I have for you. Okay, now I'm going to turn it around and go to the other side. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to fold it first. But now I'm going to pull a little bit because, again, I want this tight like a drum. I don't need to go crazy because I don't want to bend the wood, but I do want it tight so that there's some tension. Okay? Make that sound as loud as possible, please. Right? So I'm going to start with my four corners, and we're going to look at the front to make sure everything's lined up before we proceed and put all the time into stretching. So same thing over here. And you can see, you can also hide the fact that this line is not totally straight by just folding it over. Looks very profesh. So pull a little bit, just set up my initial line. Good. The nice thing with smaller pieces is I can just turn them around. When I'm working on really big pieces, I end up having to walk around the table 1,000 times. So advantages to working small. Okay, so I'm going to pull and just make sure I want to get about to here. So I get to kind of decide how much folding to do. Yeah, good. So I've got my four. Now I can look at the front and say, okay, this is looking more or less lined up. You can see that there's some wrinkles happening here. I think we'll be able to get those more or less out by pulling it. Okay. Step one, done. Step two, done. Now, wait, hold on. Hold it. Now it's hot. So I'm going to take this demo seriously. Okay, now what we want to do is every 2 inches, you want a staple, and you want them to be opposites of each other. So we're going to keep doing that so that we're pulling it equally on all sides until we have a completely done canvas. What's this? Nothing. Okay. So just pick a side. Pull just a little, because remember, you have to pull the other side too. So don't over pull on one side, otherwise you won't be able to pull on the other side. Okay. Good. It's about 2 inches. Turn that around. Do the same thing here. Pull a bit. And so I'm always alternating opposites across and then the other way too. So here. And then we're going to do this side now. And we start from the center. We're just going to work our way out until we get to the corners. And then I'll show you how to do corners. Okay, good. Boom. Good. Okay. So I've got all on that side, and I'll do the other side. Fold, pull, staple, fold, pull, staple. Folding, pulling. I'm also pulling out a little. Right? Good. Oh. Okay, good. Now let's keep going. I'm going to do one more on each side, then we're going to do corners. Fold, pull. And we're folding and we're pulling when we get near the corners, and we're holding as we make it uniform. Okay. Fold, pull, staple. Okay, so now corners. What you're gonna do is pick a direction, usually the top of the painting. So this is a square, so it's kind of gonna just pick whichever. But if I'm trying to do a portrait, right, it's long this way, then I'm gonna do this way and this way so that it folds top down. So it folds in a way where it's harmonious. Actually, I'm gonna come around. We're gonna go this way. I'm gonna come to you. I think that's the best thing. We're gonna do, if you look at my hands, get in there. Get in there. There we go, good. High tech zoom in. So I've got my edge, right? So what I'm gonna do is pull this way, and then like this, sort of pulling in and there, right? So I'm making this sort of L shape. Then with this side, I'm just gonna wrap it around. And when I wrap around like that, it will make this nice seam. What you wanna do is get this directly there. I don't want it over here, I don't want it over here. I want something that meets the edge perfectly. And you're gonna have this little triangle of folded material, and that's fine. But so this is gonna be the top. This is gonna go down. So I've got this, right? I'm gonna go over and up, and then pull out here. So over, up, pull, and then fold. And if there's too much material, I pull this way with my thumb until it lines up perfectly, right? So I'm going back and forth, but I want to make sure it lines up. And then when I have that, I'm going to put an initial staple here so I can sort of save my place, like a save file on a video game. And this doesn't need to do the diagonal thing with the staple. It just needs to hold our work in place. Ta-da! Okay. Now what I want to do is make this nonsense look pretty. So I'm going to spend some time folding. I'm going to fold this all in, just kind of push it in and fold. And generally what I do is I leave a little room here and I put this staple in after. So I like pre-measure how much material I have, because I can, you know what, let's do it. I'll just show you, because that's the whole point of what we're doing. I'm just gonna take this out, and I'll put it back in later, right? So now, push, 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 fold, 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 push, push, push. Pull this in, pull this a little bit. Ideally, you don't even see this top part, right? It looks pretty finished like that. And then once I have it where I want it, put in my staple. And voila, you have your very own, I can pull this out, don't look at that. You have your very own corner, and from the front, seamless. Look at that. Look at that. So that's one direction. And so this one also is gonna go this way, and then on this other direction, this is gonna go this way. So come out a little bit. And I'm just gonna show you, we're gonna do each side until it's done. And you'll get a few chances at this. The corners are the hardest part. So if you do struggle initially, that's okay. Just slow down the part of the video where I showed you step by step how to do it. This, you'll know if you need to take the staple out because it will get in the way. If you're finding you don't have enough room to maneuver, give yourself more, right? So I'm coming over like this, then I'm coming in and up, and I'm finagling it until I find exactly where I want it. And I've got a lot of material, it looks a little silly. I'm just gonna pull it over as much as I need it to be. So all I need to do, all I'm trying to do with this is get that nice seam so that it can't be seen. Okay, good. And try to get your staple here so that you can fold this top part later, right? It's just a placeholder staple. Bazinga. And listen, you'll get a feel for this as you go. Don't put too much pressure on yourself to get it perfect the first try. We're just trying to button this up enough to where it holds, functionally holds the canvas in place. Then B, it can't be seen from the front. So let me show you this. I just think this is the kind of thing you have to be shown a few times before you get it. So grab this, out and over, and then pull. Your hands are working together, right? We're working together to make this fold shape. So fold, fold, boom, right? So I've got this nice edge. That's what we want. And I'm going to put my holding staple in. And you see this? This is coming out a little bit. So I'm just going to pull this in too so I can just grab all of this with one staple. There we go. Throw a staple down. Oh, just kidding. It's fine. No blood. When I was younger, I used to do that all the time to freak people out. Because I thought it was funny because I was a little meme lord. But I don't do that anymore because I'm alone in this big studio. I'm trapped here making content and nobody visits me because why would they? If I wanted to, I could spend more time getting this exactly perfect, but for my demo for you, don't put that pressure on yourself. Just make it look as good as you can. If you want to put one more here, because there are end of the materials here, sure, we can do that too. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Perfect timing. Now I get to show you how to change a staple gun. Okay, so here's your staple gun. Sometimes it runs out. And that's exactly why we brought extra staples. So, what is this? 1/4 inch? 1/4 inch or 3/8 inches is fine. Get the ones with these little teeth. Oh dear. Well, you get the idea. Right? They've got these sort of like teeth, you know, scored if you look at the side. What are you going to do? Staple gun. There's this little thing at the bottom, right? So handle, bottom. I should do this the other way. You push in and forward, and the whole thing comes out, right? This is the little staple thing that pushes. And you go like this. Make sure no loose staples come out. Now what I'm going to do, I've got the barrel of the staple gun. Got the staples. All I need to do, line it up. There's these 2 grooves in here. So my top just needs to rest on those. And the whole thing will slide in. Like that. And then, like an old musket, I can just take this top, take this little pusher, also rest it on the top of these, and push it. Hold on. Yeah, see, once you get it to latch, you push all the way in, it'll catch, but this is springy. So we're going to push in and down, and then up, and then it locks again. Now you can staple anything in the world if you want, assuming it can be stapled. Okay, coming back to where we were. Oh, is it we're on our last one already? Oh no, okay. I actually don't need to do this, so we'll just leave it. I'm realizing. So I've got direction, right? 1, 2, this is our last one. So let's do it. I'm gonna pull here, and then over, and then with this hand, I'm gonna pull like that, right? So here first, we're setting up our inside. We're pulling this way, we're gonna push over, I'm gonna pull up. I'm gonna keep doing that until I get this little like corner going. I'm gonna push that there, and I get it to where I want until I've got pretty much a clean seam, right? And once I get that, I pull it back here. Let's see. Right? Pull over here. Yeah. Oh, you know what? It's this. I tried to do this nice demo for you. And it turns out all my staples are too close. But that's okay. You can just take them out. You can use a tool also, some pliers or something if you don't want to hurt your precious hands. Okay? But you get the idea. So see, now I've got a lot more room. It was fighting me before this because it was pulling on other things. So down, over, up, and we're working together with our hands. We're pulling up, right? Like that. And I can move, make micro adjustments until it's exactly where I want it with this nice little 90, right? Bear with me. I'm like doing this upside down and with 2 cameras, trying to make sure you can see it. And also trying to do the thing, which is stretching it. Okay, ready? Good. This doesn't look so pretty from the back, but we don't really care about that. What we care about is a clean seam, and we care about it actually holding the material. So that's good. Let's staple that. Okay, good. And now all I have to do is pull this back out. Not too much. Oh, look, my staples come loose. That happens sometimes. Don't worry about it. Just try again. Sometimes, yeah, if there's a bunch of material, it gets too thick, and then you have to do it again. Or use a hammer, which I could do. Should I hammer? Do I have a hammer? No, it's somewhere. We don't know where it is, so we're going to leave it. And sometimes I'll even use the staple. I'll feel where the double material is and go right next to it where it's not. And I'll make sure I get some here and some there to hold it. And so let's just try one more time. Let's just try one more time. Okay, I feel good about that. Let's pull our old one out. Kablamo! And just like that, finished stretcher bar. We've got this clean surface. Sounds like a drum, right? All the wrinkles have come out, so we're pretty much there. However, if you still have wrinkles at this stage, now that we've stretched it tight, what we can do is on the back, you can take a spray bottle and you can just spray the wrinkles and they'll come out. And then after that, you put down a layer of gesso and you sand, another layer of gesso and you sand. And that is the stretcher demo. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you have any hot takes or tips to share with us about stretching, let me know. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you feel empowered to make your very own painting, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.